Yes, we are live.
On Sunday afternoon.
It is not Sunday afternoon. It is Monday morning. 11. It's almost 11 a.m. Monday morning. Driveline R&D podcast, Research and Drinks, episode 7. Hopefully not messing up the audio today.
What was the audio messed up last time?
I messed up the audio yesterday. We recorded this episode on Sunday yesterday. Completely butchered my audio. But we should be good now. So we're recording this, and we're still going to release it in 1 hour and 12 minutes. Mark my words.
11 a.m.
And I got a trendy Bloody Mary here.
Yeah, for drinks today. Caravan's got a Bloody Mary. Good little Monday morning, start to the workday drink, right?
It's not Bloody Marys. You actually eat the parsley straight off the glass like this.
What do you? Okay, there we go. This is good. This is a fire start. What is the What do you think like the alcohol percentage of that is? That Bloody
15.
Mary. 15. Dang.
Belly porta stiff.
Wow. Okay, Lindley, what are you drinking?
5 o'clock somewhere, so figured it's time for a beer. Cosmic Waves from Silver City Brewing.
Very, very impressive.
So crack that open.
Yo, Brady, want me to save this toothpick for you?
That'd be great. Thank you. If you want to bring that back. Okay. What is up? What is going on? We're all in the same place, kind of. Not really.
Back home in Seattle, baby.
Yes. Last week, we were all in different states. Now we're in the same state, back in Washington. I'm back home. Lindley's back home. Caravan's still here. What's going on? What are we doing? What's cracking with the last week?
Let us know why you're in Arizona, or like why you're not no longer in Arizona, and what we're thinking of doing.
Oh yeah. Came back just because went down there with the mobile lab, hoping we could maybe set up some assessment work, do a couple things here and there, if possible, in terms of like, say there's a bunch of MILB throwers and major league throwers down there. No spring training. They're still looking to like get some work in, maybe get some biomechanics assessments. We could do that, especially if there's like any kind of travel bans. But then everything kind of like kept going, and players were basically being sent home. Season was not looking like it's gonna start up anytime soon. So that all just got kind of shut down. Figured it'd be best to head back home and get cracking on trying to make the Driveline remote training experience even better than it already is. And I think that's basically what we're all kind of working on right now in R&D. Priorities shifting that way. Lindley, you still got some R going on.
Yeah, a little bit, but all research. Mostly.
But it's all kind of like, even the research is geared towards eventually like bolstering online training, bolstering training, because that's all we can do. Also, last podcast we said that we were keeping the gym open, and that changed within like 12 hours of that podcast being recorded. Like immediately last Monday, we ended up having to shut down the gym because of some I think it's like Washington Health Organization regulations, like WHO or something.
That's World Health Organizations, bro.
No. The specific Washington one.
There's another WHO?
Yeah, there's multiple who's. You're asking who the who is.
Did you see that? Did you see that tweet? I saw it copy and pasted all over Twitter, but who let the dogs out?
Yeah,
they said something about
Okay, Lindley, it's not time to plug shitty memes.
No, dude. I laughed every time I saw it, man.
That's good. Yeah, so the gym is now closed. We worked out kind of well for Caravan and I, because we went and picked up some equipment for the home gym setup in the garage. Pretty fire, honestly.
And I made a joke on the Lost episode, but
I
will mention if anyone wants to drop in, $10 drop-in fees. We got all colors plyo ball, got a bumper plate, some weights. So like I said, $10 drop-in fee. We'll keep it under 10 people as per regulations, but we can get remote training via Driveline, in-person training via the West Seattle crib.
Any updates on the sound complaints? Did you guys get any complaints yesterday?
I don't know. I threw yesterday. I mean, did you hear anything while I was throwing?
Yeah. I heard shit.
Was it loud? Is it like?
Yeah.
Because
it was pretty loud.
I'm telling you, it sounds like a racquetball court whenever you throw the lighter balls.
Yeah. No, I think it was really loud. I was just showering. I didn't care, but I don't know if
that's crazy though, because you're 3 floors up in the shower and hearing it. I wonder if our neighbors are just like, "What is that?"
They just come back and ask about a dog again.
It's like we turned our garage into like a gun range. So loud in there. Got to do what we can. Yeah, so home gym setup is chilling. We're all like basically quarantined, self-isolation, posted up, working from home as per usual for the. It seems like the foreseeable future, the indefinite future, gets longer each time. It just feels like longer and longer away of getting out of this.
I was just thinking another way. I feel like I'm been more optimistic this last week, or at least specifically in Washington, because our cases, our cases have slowed down so much compared to like New York and other places.
Right. Daily cases and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we're not talking about it as much in like Slack and stuff either. Like creating new policies and everything to deal with it. So I feel like just because I'm not hearing about it as much, I'm feeling better about it.
Maybe it just seems like this is like the new normal, and like this is just how things are. Like I haven't we were in such like a state of like change, and now we're just like we're kind of just gonna be like coasting as is, you know. Like a thing that is doing that for me is like the R&D stand up, like every morning at 10, just having like those quick meetings. It's just like, you know, those basically aren't new anymore. That's just this is R&D. This is how we do it, kind of a thing, and we're going off that. Anything big in the last week? Projects, updates, what we're working on, what's kind of popping up here and there?
Yeah, I think on our end, we talked about this a little bit off air, but it's pretty interesting because there's a lot more opportunity now. Like, I mean, essentially as a company, we have way less operational tasks. Like, doesn't apply as much to R&D, but that also applies to other third parties. So I think we're finding a lot of smaller tech-based companies are very interested in either potential partnerships or at least opening up the discussion. So we have a lot of interest flooding in, like this small company wants to do something with us, that kind of stuff. And we're just talking about A, you can't say yes to everyone. B, we don't want to say yes to everyone. Is that you, Brady? You talk.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, you pulled the rookiest podcast amateur mistake. Didn't you turn off the sound on your phone?
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, well, you better not know because I'm about to call you right now.
Definitely did not just get a text.
That prank, when you want to get your buddy in trouble in high school, you just like put their phone on loud and then call them in the middle of class.
Apologize, I'm better than that.
Very relatable. very relatable interjection, Lindley.
Wow, yeah.
I did do that though. But as I was saying, we have a lot of like interesting opportunities available. But it's also important to kind of like sift through what's either A, helpful to us as a company and to our clients, and B, what's like doable and what's like valid, kind of, because a lot of we were just talking something about this, like people will claim this improves performance, this improves this lowers this discrete metric, but without any like real backing. And I think like one of the easy examples, and you've been more involved with like more promising integrations, Brady, so I can let you talk about it in a second. But I was going to mention on my end, I had a phone call with a smaller tech company, which is interesting. Like I think they have an interesting product. I don't know too much about it, but like one of my first questions was when they brought up, we were on a phone. and they talk about this product improving reaction timing. And I said, and they had pro clients, many baseball players, and I asked like, okay, well, so how have those pro players, like, have you guys tracked any performance indicators?
Right.
And I mean, it didn't give me, I mean, I think the guy I was talking to said, do you have someone else kind of in charge of that? So I'm kind of going to follow up, but I think like the important thing to take away is there's got to be at least some sort of big picture of why are you using that product? What's it going to do?
Right.
And
right.
if it's not doing it yet, like, is there a reason it's not doing it yet? Is it like a secondary indirect effect? Are you even trying to track it? Are you even trying to track like whatever the goal is linked to like product usage by your clients to see like what happens, like at least have like the biggest thing is have an idea of looping back to, base one. Okay, we use this product to do this. What does this do? This improves baseball players. What is it? WOBA, batting average, like whatever it is. It doesn't have to be that's an easy service level example. But if it's not that, then what is it? Is it ISO on 2-strike pitches? Like, you know what I mean? Like have a sort of rationale that makes sense and link it back to your product, and then we can talk.
Yeah, I think that there's kind of like you have like two. If you wanted to, you could like split it into like two areas of products. You have one that's like these softwares, these technologies that claim that they can like make a player better or like improve their performance, whatever. Or you have this other one that just like measures or monitors things, and like doesn't necessarily need to have the claim of like making them better, as long as it just like can reliably measure something, and then like leave it up to the like player or coach or whoever to kind of like determine what is better. Like a radar gun doesn't like inherently, it's not a product that like makes you better. It just measures ball velocity. Now, with the knowledge of like accurately and reliably measuring ball velocity, you can use that to improve. But it's not like you buy a radar gun, you automatically start throwing harder kind of a thing, right? And I think a lot of like companies in the sports science like tech space will like take their product and try to just say like, you buy this and use it and you will get better. And that's like a lot harder of a claim, especially when you're taking it like, especially when it's really far away from like the actual task specific and sports specific movement. Like if it's measuring something in a like scenario that is so far outside of the realm of baseball, it's tough to link that like specificity and think that it's actually going to carry over into like actual in-game performance.
Yeah.
Right. Even in a training setting, like going from like our gym and a training setting and then trying to take that into like an actual game, like identifying that carryover is going to be really, really tough.
What are some steps that like for a potential like baseball tech company that is hoping to improve performance or improve a skill in an athlete in baseball, for example? What are things that they like need to show to like make us confident that they are like doing what they're claiming?
Kind of tough.
Throw me some money on Venmo, baby.
It's I think that's like really tough. I feel like they're typically just like really far removed from like the game and the training environment, and that can like tend to be their downfall. Like you can make this product that just like accurately measures something or does something, and that is like great. But then they try to go one step further and become like coaches, trainers, etc. And like that's not what they're good at. Like it'd probably be better if they left that up to the people that are good at that, and then like let them use the product accordingly. And I think that's what happens a lot as is. Like people don't use the products and like technologies out there for what the engineers and like people that made the product think the usage is, because they just like know more about that environment, and that's like totally okay. Like I think that's like where we've found, where Driveline can really like establish ourselves is like almost like the bridge the gap between like technology and player in terms of like understanding the data, integrating it, implementing it, like what to actually do with it, kind of a thing, and then just
so I was
like,
gonna say, I feel feel like a lot of our most successful partnerships have been that way. Like they provide data and like a measurable to us, and then we can kind of apply it to our program and then further to other like organizations, whether that's college, high school, pro.
Yeah, it's like they can understand that like we will do a better job than them in terms of like analytics and implementing it to like actually direct and improve performance. And they're going to do a better job at producing the hardware and the software and everything around their tech. And like that's a good relationship. But if the technology was going to try to do that, they just need a bunch of training data and like do a lot of research like what we do. And even like research at the best level is going to be like really, really hard, like taking and splitting into like control groups and like implementing the product and then actually like measuring some performance indicators to follow.
And just bandwidth wise as well. Like if you're spending all this time working on a product and developing it, and then
you have to be totally okay with just like burning all of that time too, and it not coming out of the other side with like anything usable.
Yeah.
There's also a problem with sparsity of just like subjects with a new product. Like you can do your best to recruit subjects that are like valid, but it's really tough to do that without already a substantial like backing by other people in the industry or by a good amount of data that you don't have because it's new. And so it's just like you could sell it to these. And what I feel like happens a lot is you'll get like a team or an organization or something to kind of like adopt it or say they adopt it so they can get it and like try it out maybe haphazardly, and then just like it doesn't actually get tested, like they can say that it's used here, it's used there, but may not necessarily be like actually getting like good quality like data and investigations going on through that.
And I think, well, actually, first off, two things. Are we worried about this? You guys seen this remaining?
Yeah. We'll have to. Well, we can. Let's just restart the meeting right now, and I'll keep it recording, and I'll just clip this.
So the thing.
Sorry. Brief break there. Zoom calls 40 minutes max. Had to restart the call.
Oh, Max on it.
We're back. No, we're back. What were you saying?
What I was gonna say really quickly on kind of that note to wrap it up more. I was gonna say, I think when I first started working for Driveline and in general, I had probably too high of, or like I was like willing to accept whatever technology like spat back at me, as like the truth, or like I didn't spend too much time about like the beta testing and everything, like how much things would change, like obviously I'm familiar with bugs and everything. Like I worked at my old job, I worked with our software platform, but like I figured like whatever they were telling us, they were like really, really confident in, I kind of made a assumption that they were experts in also devising the hardware that construction technology and the actual like baseball research landscape in which they were spinning out the numbers, which is definitely not always the case. And I would say almost always not the case. Yeah. So I think like when we actually started like, like having faith in our own knowledge and be like, okay, well, the break on this pitch makes no sense. Like, I don't care what your technology is saying. That's obviously like, there might be an easy explanation. It might be like, one line of code, but that clearly is not the case. And that's like something that you guys, needs to like, that's valuable feedback we're giving to you and that you guys can incorporate into changing your product.
Yeah. And that just comes with like the experience of us just like having the ability to use the products in like the environment and like across a lot of people. And I think that's another thing too, going back to what Lindley was saying with like, if you actually wanted to like do that kind of research, it's going to be like pretty tough. You're going to have like a lot of available athletes at like the youth high school level, maybe even the college level, but then to take the stuff that like you're learning from them and like slap that onto elite higher level players is going to be like really, really tough. And it's the same reason why most research in like sports science in America is done typically on like high school or like college aged people, where it's just like that's what's available for the study, at the time. So that's going to be like another tough thing for them. So I think like right now, if you are one of those like technology companies or you're entering the scene like that, I think, and I think it's just like more personally valuable for us right now for a product or a technology to reach out that can reliably measure something. I care way less about the claims of like, use this device and you'll, gain bat speed, velo, whatever it is. Like, I probably don't believe that. Maybe you have the research backing, but I would like seriously doubt it right now. Same goes for like anything else, like vision trainers, reaction trainers, like anything, all these products. I would much rather just have like, give me something that I can use to monitor and measure something. And then like, we feel confident in the way that we develop and make players better, and let us like continue to do that job. And your product can like supplement what we already do, kind of a thing.
On the front of like high school athletes versus elite athletes, things like that, I think for me at least, I would much rather have a well-designed study with like a very robust analysis on high school athletes or youth athletes or like little whatever college athletes, as long as it's like a good data set and like you analyze it correctly and thoroughly. I'd rather have that than like a half-assed like, oh, we found these relationships between this pro player's performance that used this product once.
Right.
They made it to the big leagues. Yeah. Like their bat speed went up in 2017, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, there's like 27 miles.
27 miles. Yeah, I feel like it's either like they have some piece of data that they like rely on, and then you find out it was like sample size of like 10 players and they were all like 16 years old or whatever, or it's like some like professional endorsement, like some like player has like made this product and is like, this is what I did, this is what I used, and then it's just like based on anecdote, but
yeah,
it has like some big name attached to it, and everyone's like, oh well, must work, kind of a thing. And just like,
and on that there. I was saying, on that note, I think pretty relevant, especially like a relevant statistical note when it comes to validation that we talked about previously for one of the products that that reached out, is the idea of running like the multiple comparisons problem. So basically, if you run like say a normal t-test with an alpha of 0.05, so when the p-value is under 0.05, you consider that like statistically significant.
Mm-hmm.
You think that's like too low to be random chance. Although you're still making an assumption, right? Like it could still be random chance, but it's just like under a level enough that we're going to call it not random chance. But when you run so many tests, just by random variability, there's bound to be a couple that do register as statistically significant. Right. So if you run like 70, 80 tests, like random, like again, by random variance, the expected values should be like 3 or 4 of them will pop up as under 0.05, but that doesn't mean they're actually significant. So most like larger statistical comparisons will apply something called like a Bonferroni correction. And there's a bunch of variations like the Halm correction, whatever, where the more tests you have, the more rigorous the alpha level is. So each like test you take, like you kind of like apply based on what correction you're using, apply like some sort of value to the denominator to like lower the alpha level. Because like I said, like when you're running that many, it's just like something's bound to happen.
Right.
And I think actually Bodie posted a pretty funny image of this in our research base camp. It was like maybe we can throw it in on we can throw it in for our tweet, but give him some credit. But yeah, it's like an image of like, it's like a comic book image of this dude coming to some guy saying like, oh yeah, jelly beans. He goes to like every single color. It's like black jelly beans do not correlate with acne. Purple jelly beans do not correlate with acne. Go through like 20 colors. Like green jelly beans do correlate with acne.
Yeah.
Green jelly beans cause acne.
Yeah.
When like with only a 5% chance.
Yeah.
What?
And then he says with only a 5% chance of like random error.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, low-key they do though. I stopped eating green jelly beans in my face.
The complexion cleared up a bunch. Good. Yeah, I think yeah, in general, it's just like so much more value right now in just like both parties kind of just like doing what they do best, right? Like we work well with players and we develop players well, and like you made a like hardware and software and a product that like works reliably, and then like you don't need to like try and take over or like do the player development aspect of it, right? Because it's not like you're a tech company. You're just gonna like create your own gym and facility, and people are gonna walk through the doors and then like use the product and train there.
At the same time, that it takes a lot of effort and like rigor to make sure these products are worth what they're saying and everything. It's pretty valuable to us. Like, I mean, I know Anthony is spending a lot of his time in a similar like project. I'm spending basically all my time on a project kind of validating and getting it to kind of augment our like training process. So it's like, even though we have to be careful about who we partner with, and we have to be careful about like what kind of interpretation we do with whatever like results come from whatever we're using from these partnerships, it's like very valuable to us because we can use it and to just continue to improve our program. So
yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, do you think right now, and I mean, I guess a lot of it is just because of what's going on, like with baseball getting canceled. It makes sense that like all these companies are kind of like reaching out. There's like a weird, and we're trying to avoid this too. We don't want to like deploy all these resources into projects that like aren't going to matter after this kind of thing. So I wonder if there's like some like products or technologies out there that are going to be like super valuable now, and then like once this storm passes, maybe it's not as much. I don't know. Tough to tell. I know that we're trying to like avoid that. We don't want to sink a bunch of hours into just like solving a problem that exists for another month or two, and then after that, it's like, well, that's no longer sustainable, or it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, no, I think it's super relevant. I think that's also why we're trying to use the hours now available to work on things that will be valuable short-term and long-term.
Right.
Like I think one of the examples we are working on, that I'm working on with probably mostly Jaggers is going to be, but putting together a large library of Edgertronic footage and Rhapsody paired pitches,
right?
Which is right now we have about over 1,000 paired clips, like really high quality Edgertronic, everything standardized, released like over the shoulder, filmed over the shoulder, released kind of like centered in the shot, and paired with like Rhapsody 2.0 data. So we're gonna like try to organize that, split out by folders, split out by profiles, nice. And then kind of like, I mean, I think it's open-ended kind of what we're going to do with it. It hasn't been decided yet. Could be valuable content, could be valuable like things to send to remote trainees, could just be valuable EDU for staff and, players or coaches wanting to learn more. But I mean, there's just like a ton of stuff that I think always gets pushed to the, back burner. And honestly, I mean, for us, it's still going to get pushed to back burner. R&D wise, like stuff always like there's always going to be stuff coming in and things you have to kind of prioritize and like not get to right away, things like that. But I think for at least coaches and the more skilled trainers, like now's the time to like kind of tackle all those things that did get pushed to the back burner, because you don't have to worry about the operational things that obviously always take high priority. You have the game to win next day. You have to like run practice. You have to like set up a bullpen with this guy. But now, again, you have this time to tackle the things you always wanted to tackle.
Yeah, I think there are going to be a lot of cool things that do end up coming out of this period, just from so many people just have so much time on their hands, and there's like nothing going on.
Bloody Mary cash, baby.
From Bloody Mary down. It's not even 11:30. Not even noon.
It's prime brunch time right now.
Getting it started early.
Oh, and I might get a refill.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Let's go.
2 Bloody Marys. Let's go. What a start to the day. Get it started right.
Oh, I was gonna say 2 things we should also talk about potentially is just back from the last episode, the quick Saber recap and the articles. I don't know how we're doing on time.
Yeah, we're probably like
35 in or 30 in.
We're probably like 30 in. Yeah.
Okay.
About 30 minutes in recording. Yeah, so we can keep going there. Yeah. What do you got from Saber?
Yeah. So Saber was honestly pretty hard to tell exactly how it went because I did it over Zoom. Didn't fly out of Saber.
Right.
But they're pretty generous, set it up by Zoom, and also they stream. Yo, never mind on the Bloody Mary. Never mind on the Bloody Mary refill.
Yeah, easy in the background there.
But anyways, oh yeah, no. So Saber won well. Damn it, basically notifications. I got a quick refill.
Get it together, man. Get it together. Oh my god.
Okay, so Saber. So first off, I didn't manage. Okay, dude, you're coughing in the background every 4 minutes.
Okay.
So, and we can cut that part out to prevent corona paranoia.
Yeah.
But anyways, so Saber was fine. I zoomed in so basically the only reaction I could really tell was Scott Bush's reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really get a vibe. I didn't really get a chance to like read through everything right before because we were watching like Trump's speech in the background where he declared a national emergency.
The first address. Yeah.
What's up?
The first address, right? That was It was Friday, right? It was like Friday afternoon.
Yeah. Around like noon, and I was presenting at 1:45, so it's like still going on. I'm still watching. I'm like, I gotta present.
Yeah.
So like I hopped in the Zoom meeting, and my first opening joke, which I don't know if it landed or not because I could only hear like Scott Bush's reaction.
Right.
But I was like, yeah, all right, gonna have to follow Trump. Hopefully this goes well. And then I just launched into it. And I think my pacing was a little bit off. I sped it up at the end because I ran 5 minutes over. Didn't have time for questions.
Nice.
But the good news is the only reason I wanted to do Saber in the first place was I managed to, at the end when I had like Lindley's name as acknowledgments because Lindley like hooked it up on some edit. But I also got this feedback about Saber from a
Wow, for those not watching, Caravan just put up a note card that said you were amazing and sexy.
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
So anyways,
is that a damning reaction to what you actually presented on?
Oh, because that had nothing to do with my presentation.
Yeah, it was like
wait, can you
nothing
to
do with Saber related things.
Hold up, like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, and at the end, I just mentioned like how I left my Twitter handle. I said, go follow me on Twitter. Definitely don't follow Kyle Lindley because I'm doing a Twitter contest with him. Got a solid laugh, and more importantly, got about 30 followers. And
you got 30?
I think so. Yeah. Hey,
I just checked. I just tallied up the followers. I'm like 120 away. You're like 380 away. So I think I got the followers unlocked.
Hey, keep snoozing though. Keep snoozing. Hey, it gets real hard when you get close to 1,000. It gets real hard. But yeah, I got a couple coworkers to unfollow Lindley as well, at least temporarily. But
that's big.
It's more important.
You just gotta commit yourself to like a dedicated unfollow Lindley smear campaign. That's how you'll give yourself more time. I just
personally DM each one of Lindley's followers to unfollow him.
You don't want to listen to this guy. Trust me.
You might be able to get all of them except for one.
You were
read that out loud for the listeners.
The card says you were amazing and sexy talking about swing adjustments.
That's right.
That is, yeah. Interesting feedback. I wonder what person in the Saber community said that. It's crazy. Probably Dan. I think that was from Dan.
I think that was just a poll.
I think that was from. Oh, it was a poll. Okay, yeah.
You guys know if there's an update on the fall one, the fall Saber seminar?
The one that's like in Boston?
Boston?
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
Yeah, I mean everything's probably up in the air. I would feel like.
Also, to be honest, these Bloody Marys are hitting me pretty hard because I haven't eaten that much today.
Oh man, that's good. It's a good thing you have a full day of work in front of you too. I'm I'm sure the stuff you'll be churning out is just fantastic.
Yeah. This technology is validated.
Yeah, that looks good. That's fire. Okay, before that second Bloody Mary hits you too hard, you wanna throw out some article recommendations?
Articles, yeah. And we were thinking we can make this kind of like a weekly recurring theme.
Yeah.
I got some pretty good feedback on the last ones we dropped. So we'll go ahead and drop 3 of them, and then next week we can all come up with like one good one.
Right.
And we'll bring to the table. This is a good mix of recent stuff and an oldie but goodie. But here's my 3 articles for this week, and we'll link them in a tweet thread too. So first one, there's lots of physics to do now that Hawkeye is up and running, by David Kagan, a Hardball Times piece. David Kagan,
very recent, right?
Yeah,
last 2 weeks.
A week ago.
Yeah.
Kagan's like really good at explaining like simple physics when it comes to baseball. He's like written one of the better just Magnus Force, just overall spin direction pieces, and also very relevant because Hawkeye is going to be a thing whenever baseball starts again. So I think it's like a very good high level overview of what Hawkeye does and like the new features it kind of brings that most people aren't aware of. Second piece dropped by Eric Jagers in our research base camp. It's called, a little bit of a wordy title. There's a combination of different pitches and the absence of pitch type information influence timing control during batting in baseball. It's a research study, I think published, also a week ago. And I mean, to condense it, it's asking, do different pitch types elicit different timing, or do they influence timing? So okay. I think very, very relevant to like questions that a lot of people have. And I haven't read a full paper. I've read the abstract, glossed over it a little bit, but seems like a very well-formed study.
Yeah.
And I think, like I said, pretty interesting. And then the third one, oldie but goodie. This one actually was talking with someone who works for TrackMan, who listened to my separate presentation. And he asked me a couple questions about the ways I ran things, like adjustments and everything. And I dropped him this article, and he was like, oh yeah, like this is one of the better pieces that has to do with like TrackMan errors. And it's called Accounting for the Null Solution by Andrew Perpetua.
Okay.
And it just like brings up the ideas of, TrackMan specifically, or StatCast, I should say, had trouble tracking certain types of pitches or certain types of batted balls. For example, every certain whatever balls fell in a certain type of pop-up profile all got labeled the exact same EV and LA combination. So there'd be about like 50 pitches that had 60.2 EV and 50.6 LA, when it's obviously not the case. The probability of 50 singular batted balls having the exact same combination of 2 continuous variables is like incredibly low. So those are just like, okay, those are obviously imputed by the system as a formula. So you take those out, or you don't take, depends what you want to do. But like the idea is, it's really important to realize what the system's actually tracking and what's actually just like, filling in with their own autofill variables to smooth everything over.
Yeah. Okay, that's fire. Yeah, I think I'm down for next week and like coming episodes to do that. Try to we'll have that as like a pillar segment, some sort of like article or journal club-esque review by one of us, and we can talk about things along those lines.
Super interesting. This morning, actually, Journal of Biomechanics or Applied Biomechanics just released another issue. So there's a couple in there that I marked are pretty interesting. So hopefully next.
How often do they release?
Every few weeks, I think. This is the third of the year.
Do you have it like as a like how'd you find that? Are you subscribed?
I just turned on notifications for that one of them. I want to try to do that more because I'd like to like stay more up with.
No, I'm in on that too. I think I have a hard time. Like I have like 5 or 6 articles or 5 or 6 websites that I check out, but I always don't check out consistently. Like I'd be in on having like a
email notification
every like 2 weeks or something. Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah.
No, that would be. That's a good call. I feel like I get so many from like Rob Gray's Twitter at like after midnight every day. It's just like just go to his Twitter and just like look at the last 30 tweets looking for fire articles or something. Pretty crazy. Okay, it's 11:30. I got to get this episode up in 30 minutes. So I say we wrap it here. Kind of a shorter one, 40 minutes, but
yo, long enough for me to get smacked.
It's true. Hopefully no more audio issues. I think we should be good in the future with this setup in the podcast. We'll have some journal or article segments here on out, doing things like that. And yeah, I guess we'll just like keep on during this, however long this lasts.
Okay, well, we're gonna outro next time. We'll have a snappier line.
We don't do outros. We just, the music just starts playing and then it's over.
Soft intros, soft outros.
Yeah. That's it.